Cacti are honestly amazing. My kids knocked this down and kind of like broke it. So this black velvet definitely had root rot. Oh, gross. Okay, I'm gonna do the mercy of not showing that to you. Hello, my beautiful buds. Welcome back to my channel, Sprouts with Joy. My name is Joy, and if you like to talk about plants, you're in the right place. And today, oh my goodness. This is the first plant tours video that I filmed in ages and the first time I've done repotting in ages, if I'm being honest with you, and it's not great. The month of November for me was absolutely wild, and honestly I feel like I sound like a broken record because every single month recently has been wild for me, hence why I have not been posting as much on either of my YouTube channels, like this channel. And if you don't know, I also have a writing channel that's dedicated more towards like reading and writing and that sort of thing called Write with Joy, so if you're a writer, go check it out. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind, but I have been feeling the effects of my busyness just by like looking around at my plants and being like, okay, like yeah, that plant has not been doing well and I have not had the time or capacity to fully address it. I have been doing like a little bit of downsizing and honestly kind of letting a few plants die that were extra plants that I'm like, I don't really need you, and I don't really have anyone in my life that wants you, so I'm not gonna really worry about it or stress out about it. If they die, they die, but if they don't, they don't. But today is my attempt to kind of remedy that and get ahead on some of the things that I've been behind on. Particularly, honestly, I think this is just going to wind up being a big chunky repotting video. For as long as I have daylight and my children are content, I would like to be repotting plants. So obviously it's wintertime, it's a really gloomy day, so I'm not gonna have a whole lot of time to work with, just because, yeah, the sun has been setting at like 5 p.m. and it's ridiculous, and right now it's 3:25. So I'm just gonna do what I can and hope that like the lighting is okay enough, because yeah, it's completely overcast and sad. But we did get our Christmas tree up and we're in the process of decorating it, and it is that time of year of cozy holidays and whatever. So this is just gonna be a cozy repotting session, and we'll chat and talk about the plants, and it's gonna be a good time. All right, first and foremost, I think my first priority is actually gonna be to repot the cacti in my collection that need to be repotted, and some of the plants that kind of were hanging out outside over the summer. I know I'm late in doing this. I meant to do this over a month ago, like a month and a half ago, legitimately. It's a little bit ridiculous, but I just, again, haven't been able to do that. It's actually been really hard to find time to sit down, repot my plants, because I want to film it and I just haven't had big chunks of time where I can sit down and film things, especially because my kids are really spotty. Like my son barely takes naps anymore. He's 3, and nap time used to be my time to sit down and do things, but he's not in school yet. So it's like he's not napping, but he's not in school. So I always have him around, and you know, if I try to repot something, like he's gonna get into the dirt, he's gonna get into the plants and be romping around making noise. So I think that's my main problem right now, is I just, with my son being at the stage that he's at. My daughter is a little bit easier because she's almost 5. She's turning 5 in a week from the time that I'm filming this. And that doesn't sound right to me. That's actually insane. It's happening. It's happening. And she is in school 3 days a week, so I have a little bit more freedom. But anyways, I do want to focus on my cacti first because I plan on overwintering them. So ideally I would have done this sooner, like a month and a half ago when I brought them in, but there are a few cacti that I have that just really do need a repot. This in particular is a variegated opuntia, or variegated prickly pear cactus. When I purchased it over the summer in Florida, it needed a repot because like I could tell, I mean, the soil is really compact and it's got like roots coming out the bottom, which these are definitely dead now. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, and here's another thing. I accidentally hit like a piece of the cactus and it fell off during my last video. I mean, cacti are honestly amazing. I think I should be able to still pot this in and it will root up, I think. I could be completely wrong about that, but I'm gonna try. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. Ideally, I would have like gloves or tongs to handle this, but unfortunately, I can't find my gloves and my toddler broke my tongs. So I'm just gonna be careful. And I mean, I don't really see any major prickles on this one, spines or whatever you call them. Yeah, okay, that's solid. I can see, I wanna give you a good look at the root system here. It's got a good root system and the soil is definitely super compact. So I'm just gonna kind of loosen it slightly, especially around the top here. Oh, it actually smells too, like it's stinky soil. It's pretty old. I did this last year with my cacti where I repotted them and then overwintered them, and it seemed to work pretty well. And listen, I'm definitely not like an expert when it comes to cacti or anything, but I'm just doing what worked for me last year, and my cacti seem to be doing like fine. So if it works, then I'm just gonna keep doing it until it stops working. That's largely my approach to plants, and honestly, a lot of life too. And okay, let's see. Oop, just plopping that in there. I'm gonna tuck in this piece somewhere as well, and we'll see what happens with it. I don't know. I don't know, my channel has often been more about me just kind of doing my planty journey, and if I discover little tidbits or something to share with you guys, I will, but I never really pretend to know everything because I certainly don't. A lot of what I do is just trial and error. So yeah, I mean, if you're appalled by what I'm doing, let me know. Because I remember there being like such a big deal about repotting in the winter time, and I don't know, like there were just all of these arbitrary rules, it felt like, in the plant community for a while, until everyone realized, you know what, everyone does things differently, and whatever works for you works for you. I think sort of became the attitude, but I don't know, maybe there's still some people out there that are pretty strict. Okay, so that's that. I mean, that's pretty simple. I mean, I'm gonna water it one last time, and then when I overwinter it, I put it in the basement. I have a spot that technically there is a window kind of nearby, but it's not like direct light. It's just ambient light, but pretty much mostly dark because it's in the basement. Yeah, I don't water them like the entire winter, and that worked really well for me. It just is a good way for them to kind of like chill out and stop growing. And then over the summertime when I bring them outside again, they totally explode with growth. Next is my rat tail cactus, and this one's gonna be a little bit more tricky. This one, first of all, has a lot more like prickly bits, so I don't want to touch this with my bare hands, so I'm gonna have to figure out how I want to address this. And then the other thing is my kids knocked this down and kind of like broke it. At the time, my mom had actually been watching the kids, and I think that she just kind of like stuck it back in the soil. And by the time I noticed what happened, like it had already started growing, like regrowing these little like knobs here, if you can see. So I think like it started rerooting again, but it's like a little bit funky right now. So I don't know that it needs like a full repot, but I do want to zhuzh it and get it ready to go for overwintering. I'm just gonna try using like a grocery bag to handle this, and I'm hoping that like the worst of the spines won't harm me in this case, but you know, it's fine. Okay, this is like super loosely rooted. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna refresh the soil just because it was outside. I don't know, it's just, I feel like sometimes when the soil's outside, after that I just wanna refresh it. I don't think that you necessarily have to, but we're here, so might as well. And again, this is just like my standard soil. I know some people use specific soil for succulents and cacti, and I think that that's a good idea in general, but I just can't be bothered right now. But yeah, I'm just gonna like put them all back in. Actually, this is working surprisingly well. So I guess this is a hack if you have misplaced your gloves and your tongs, because it's like slippery enough material. Like if I were to use my sleeve, I feel like spines would get caught in the cloth, but that's not really happening with the plastic. But yeah, I know some people do use specific soil for cacti, and I think that if you have it, great. I have some cacti, but it's not like a big part of my collection. And I guess if I were to really try to foster it and make them a huge part of my collection, like cacti and succulents, maybe I would be more intentional about it. But I just kind of can't be bothered to have a separate soil bin for them. Is that bad? I don't know. Let me know if I'm alone in that, if I'm just being really lazy, or if I'm just liberated. I think I'm trying to be a little bit more minimalist in my approach to plants recently when it comes to like my supplies and the plants that I'm keeping in general. Yeah, I haven't been buying a whole lot of plants recently. I've been trying to cut down on buying new fun plant things. I used to experiment a lot more, like buy the latest plant thing like pon and the new moss poles that are coming out and new pots all the time. I don't know, I used to get lots of those things, and I think that there's nothing wrong with getting those things, but I got really bogged down by a lot of plant supplies that I never ended up really using. Like I would buy like lots of different kinds of fertilizers to test out, but then I wound up with a bunch of different fertilizers that I didn't need because I wasn't really using them because I didn't like them as much. So yeah, that's the difficulty for sure with plants is that if you are experimenting a lot, then you have to store all that stuff. And if you want to try to get rid of it, it takes a lot of mental load to get rid of it and figure out what to do with it. If you just want to throw it away, but then that feels like a waste. Yeah, it's a lot sometimes. But anyways, I'm trying to be more minimalist lately, and that means I don't have a separate soil for cacti and succulents, even though in theory that would definitely be better for the plants. But I think that they do just fine in this standard chunky mix that I have, especially if I put them in a terracotta pot that dries really quickly. This looks kind of funky, but it looks less funky than it did before. I'm just gonna have to trust that it's gonna grow in a little bit more next summer and be less funky. But for now, it's funky because of, yeah, it's a casualty. Okay, I actually don't think I need to repot either of these cacti. It's my like standard opuntia and then my cuddly cactus. But I do want to clean them up a little bit and maybe just add a little bit of soil to the top, because as you can see, at least with this opuntia, actually I don't know if you can see because it's so dark, but there's like some roots down here that are exposed. They're kind of leaning a little bit, the petals are. And this one is less bad. And it has like some roots I can see, but it's not really root bound. So I'm gonna leave it alone. But maybe just add a little bit more soil, a little bit more stabilization before I get ready to overwinter them. So honestly, this is a super quick fix, which is nice. Okay, there's a little bit more here I want to add. Because sometimes, you know, when you water a plant, the soil just kind of recedes over time and you just need to top it off. There we go. That means that all of my cacti are pretty much ready for me to overwinter them. Like, I'm just gonna give these guys a quick water and then I'm gonna put them in the basement and I won't have to worry about them for the next like 3 or 4 months at least. That's kind of nice. Okay. Okay, honestly, that is such a weight off of my shoulders. You have no idea. I've been thinking about that for such a long time. Just the fact that I need to get all these cacti repotted and then overwintered. Like, I just have not had the time, or if I have had the time, I've just been putting it in other areas. Like, I have been reading quite a lot. That's what I do in my free time, is reading and running is another big one. So like, those are the hobbies that have been kind of taking over recently. But other than that, I mean, life has been hectic, so I just haven't had time for all of the things that I love to do, which I think a lot of people can relate to. But anyways, the fact that this is done and now I can just overwinter them, I'm gonna water these in and then overwinter them, and I won't have to worry about them for the next like 3 or 4 months, which is kind of nice. And then I get to put them outside over the summer and they'll look pretty on my porch. And yeah, I love cacti for that. Honestly, they're so low maintenance. Okay, the next plants that I really need to address are my Alocasia black velvet, sad, and my Alocasia macrorrhiza camouflage, which is not looking like a macrorrhiza camouflage right now. Yeah, both of these. So this one, I think I just waited too long to repot, and also was dealing with some pests, which was not great. And then this Alocasia black velvet, I honestly couldn't tell you what happened. It was just going downhill inexplicably, and then I brought it outside in the hopes that, okay, well, maybe it will bounce back, but it never did. So yeah, both of these have been staring at me, just wasting away, and now I need to do something about it. So step one, okay, side note, I already feel like it's so dark outside and it's literally 4 p.m. This is ridiculous. It's making me feel so anxious. I hate it. Okay, anyways, like, I'm not behind on the day, but it makes me feel like I'm behind on the day. All right. Oh, goody. Okay, so this black velvet definitely had root rot. I just pulled it out of the soil and literally the roots are non-existent. I don't know how that happened, but somewhere along the way, I guess I just messed up. I don't know, maybe this would come back. There is like technically a little corm right here that looks really tiny and shriveled and underdeveloped. What I was hoping, this is what I was hoping, was that the root system was still there and fully alive and fine, and I would just find a bunch of corms and they would all be alive and I would be able to revive my Alocasia black velvet with corms. Like, that's definitely what I thought was gonna happen. I was not expecting to pull it out and it be just gone. So I don't know if that is the case because I procrastinated working on it for so long, or like if it was already just too far gone. I'm hoping that it was the latter because that would make me feel less bad. I'm gonna dig through here just on the odd chance that there's a corm, but I really doubt it considering that the root system was kaput. And I also hate that I feel like I'm wasting all this soil too, but if it has rotted roots in it, I don't really want to introduce that rot to any other plants. And I don't have a good way of filtering through this to get all the roots out. So I don't know, maybe I should like try to find a sifter that would sift at least the chunky parts out that I can reuse. I hate to throw this out. If you couldn't tell, I've been like a little bit more conscious about money and spending. I mean, I feel like everyone kind of has been a little bit with this economy, but we're not going to talk about it. This doesn't like feel hollow to me completely. I feel like, I don't know, alocasia kind of come back from the grave sometimes. So I kind of want to put this in sphagnum moss in really high humidity and just see what happens. I don't know, but I'm going to set it aside for now. And let's inspect this one, because this is also going to be a train wreck, I think. Okay, well at least, yeah, I had a lot of leca in here, actually. And I think I still want to find a way to sift this stuff out and not just toss all the soil like I usually do. I don't know, is it bad? What do you think about reusing soil? At least the chunky parts. Because I can see an argument for, you know, you feel like there isn't like enough nutrients, like the nutrients in soil can be like all used up. Oh, disgusting. Oh, gross. Okay, I'm gonna do the mercy of not showing that to you, but I see like a massive mealybug that's like physically like moving. It's moving around. It just got really startled. So I'm gonna like grab just a paper towel and smush it and remove it. Okay, yeah, that's so gross. But yeah, do share your thoughts. I would never like reuse soil in the past, but now I'm kind of feeling like maybe I will, and then you just fertilize it and that's where the nutrients come from. Okay, there are some corms here that I will extract because maybe if this plant doesn't come back like variegated down the line, like I'm gonna like repot this one, the mama plant, but if she doesn't come back variegated, I wanna see if I can revive the variegation through the corms maybe. Did she have root mealies? Is that the problem? Because I feel like I'm seeing root mealies here. Yeah, that's the other thing with reusing soil is like, if it's a plant that had a pest, then you're kind of just moving the pest around in theory, and you can try to treat the soil, but I don't know, pests can be pretty resilient regardless of what you do. And sometimes it's best to just like get rid of it all. I have half a mind to like rinse these roots off and try to wash away if there's any like mealies lingering. So I only really saw the one fully grown mealy, but if you see one, there's gotta be more. Okay, I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm just gonna go rinse off these roots and be right back. And then I don't know if I wanna repot it again in here. Probably not. I had like a no drainage kick with alocasia for a while where I was like using leca as a base and then other things. And I feel like what would happen is they would totally explode in growth and be super happy for a little while, but then they would decline. It was like they would burn bright, grow like crazy, and then kind of poop out. And probably because I'm doing no drainage wrong, I would say, because I know that it works for some people for a long time, but I've also heard that other people feel like it's unsustainable, it just doesn't really work in the long run. I don't know. So I don't really know the answers, but if you have answers, feel free to share them in the comments because I am all ears. But okay, yeah, I'm gonna rinse these off. And I'm also gonna deal with these corms because more than once I have accidentally tossed corms in with like the rest of my soil that I tossed out, and obviously I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm feeling funky actually, and I think I want to stick this alocasia in water and just see what happens. I mean, obviously nothing is happening now, but I'm just gonna, you know, keep it there. And I don't know, maybe it'll love it, maybe it will hate it, but sometimes I feel like that's an effective way to rehab a plant is to just stick it in water and hope for the best. I don't know. I also want to like just put some of the leca in here and maybe salvage a little, like some of the chunkier bits of the soil because I cannot resist. Oh, but before I do that, I do actually really want to work on the corms. So I had brought, this is like a little yogurt container. I swear I go through at least one of these a week. They're just like non-fat Greek yogurt. I mean, it's so high protein, it's delicious, I love it. I'm just now realizing that I don't have sphagnum moss on hand, so I'm gonna go grab sphagnum moss. I'm gonna put the corms in here actually, and that way it's like its own self-contained little prop box container with plenty of vertical space, which is really nice. And the clear top makes it so that light can come through. Honestly, I feel like this is like designed for this. I'm actually quite excited and glad that I've capped a couple of these. Oh my word, it's getting so dark. I hate it. Why is it getting so dark? I have a bunch of sphagnum moss in here that I need to wet because it's like bone dry. So I'm gonna go do that. And I'm just gonna put like a little layer at the bottom of this yogurt container, nothing crazy. And then I've got a bunch of corms here. I think there's 5, yeah. And what I like to do is just like scrape. These are like weird looking corms. They're a little bit spiny maybe, bumpy. Peel away at them. I don't know, this is just what I've always done. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just trying to like, I don't know. I view it as waking it up maybe. Peeling away some of that like dead stuff and exposing like this white part. I try to do that like as much as I can, but I really needed some sort of a scraper for this. And I just tuck it into the moss. So I'm gonna repeat that for all of them. Let's see, okay. And then I'm gonna cover all of those with a really light layer of moss, like not completely, but just like a little bit. And then, yeah, I'm gonna cover it. And bada bing, bada boom, there we go. And then for this one, I'm just gonna stick it in moss and then put it in a prop box. This is kind of like dirty and old moss, if I'm being honest. Like this is not like ideal moss. I have some fresh moss elsewhere. I don't know, I don't really wanna use fresh moss for this. I don't think it needs it, it'll be fine. I'm just gonna kind of tuck this in. Really, I'm just trying to salvage this plant, see if there's like any life left in it, if it will reroot or something. I don't know. I have truly no idea. If I know anything, it's that alocasia can revive in like high humidity. So that's just what I'm trying to do. Oh my goodness, I literally have so many more plants to repot right now, but I can't because I'm running out of daylight. This is ridiculous. I guess I'm gonna have to stop here for now. I mean, I'm grateful that I at least got some of this started, but yeah, again, I have so much more to go. I would turn on the overhead lights and stuff, but it literally turns into orange, so I'm not gonna do that and try to film it. And my camera is already struggling to focus on me right now. So I'm gonna have to close out the video here, but I really hope that you enjoyed this little repotting session. Do let me know like if you prefer plant chores and repotting videos that are on the shorter side, or if you prefer them to be really chunky and long. Like I kind of, in my mind, when I set out to film this video, I wanted it to be like a really big chunky plant chores video so that I could get a lot done. But unfortunately, I just was not accounting for the fact that the sun literally sets so early now and it's just so dark today. And I just got a late start. So do let me know if you prefer like longer videos or shorter videos, or if you like a mix. And yeah, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.